You die on a Thursday afternoon because you make the mistake of looking back. The truck is already sliding sideways through the intersection when you notice the little girl frozen in the crosswalk. Everyone else is running. Horns scream. Tires scrape across wet pavement. Somewhere behind you, metal folds into metal with a sound like the world tearing apart. You should keep moving. You know that instantly. But the girl can't move. She just stands there in the middle of the road, eyes wide, completely frozen while the truck barrels toward her. For one stupid second, you think maybe you can still reach her. So you run back. You grab her arm. You shove her forward hard enough to throw her onto the sidewalk. Then the truck hits you. The impact erases sound first. Then light. Then everything else. Pain lasts less than a second. After that. Nothing. No heaven. No tunnel. No voices. No peace. Just darkness. And suddenly you wake up choking for air inside a room that isn't yours. You bolt upright violently. Your lungs burn. Your heart slams against your ribs so hard it feels wrong. A ceiling fan spins overhead. Rain taps softly against a nearby window. Not a hospital. Not your apartment. You stare at your hands. No blood. No broken bones. No tire marks. Your phone vibrates beside the bed. Emergency alert, District 8 curfew active. Report unauthorized individuals immediately. You read the message twice. The words make sense individually. Together, they feel wrong. You stand slowly and walk toward the window. Military vehicles block the street outside. Not police. Soldiers. Black uniforms. Rifles. Drones hovering above apartment buildings with white searchlights sweeping across windows. One drone suddenly stops outside your building. A loudspeaker crackles overhead. Citizens are reminded that harboring unregistered persons is treason against the state. You step away from the glass immediately. Your reflection catches for half a second. It's almost your face. Almost. Same eyes. Same age. But thinner. Sharper. There's a scar across your jaw you've never seen before. Your phone vibrates again. Don't let them scan you. A second message appears instantly. They already know you died once. You stare at the screen, trying to breathe normally. Then someone starts pounding on the apartment door. Not knocking. Pounding. 3 heavy strikes shake the room. Citizen verification, a man's voice says. Your entire body locks up. The pounding comes again. Open the door. You look around quickly. Tiny apartment. Desk. Bathroom. Kitchen. One exit. The front lock suddenly clicks from the outside. Someone is opening the door. You run. Rain explodes against your face as you climb onto the fire escape. Metal rattles beneath your weight while voices erupt behind you. Target moving. Flashlights slash through the darkness above. You jump the last few feet into the alley and sprint without direction, your mind collapsing beneath questions it can't process fast enough. You died. You know you died. So where are you? Gunshots crack behind you. Not warning shots. Real ones. You turn a corner hard and slam directly into a man wearing a dark coat. He grabs your arm instantly. Stop running like prey, he says quietly. They track panic first. Before you can answer, he drags you through a rusted side door into an underground stairwell. The sounds of soldiers rush overhead. Then fade. Silence settles around both of you. The man studies your face carefully. You crossed again too early. What? You died before stabilization. I don't know what any of this means. I know. He sounds exhausted when he says it. Not confused. Not surprised. Tired. Like this conversation has happened too many times before. He leads you underground into a hidden room lit by battery lamps and flickering monitors. Four armed people look up immediately when you enter. One woman stands slowly. How many deaths? You blink at her. The man beside you answers instead. 74. The room goes completely silent. One man actually swears under his breath. The woman looks at you differently after that. Like you're dangerous. You shouldn't still exist, she says quietly. Your patience finally breaks. Can somebody explain what the hell is happening? The man pulls out a chair across from you. Then he says the sentence that changes your life permanently. Every time you die, you move into a more dangerous timeline. You laugh automatically. Not because it's funny. Because your brain refuses to accept it. That's impossible. So is surviving 74 transitions. Cold spreads through your chest. No, you say slowly. I died once. The woman shakes her head. No. You remember dying once. She slides a photograph across the table. You pick it up carefully. It shows you standing beside a burning armored vehicle holding a rifle. Timeline 42. Another photo slides toward you. You lying restrained inside a hospital bed. Timeline 68. Another. You wearing military clothing beside masked soldiers. Timeline 57. Your stomach tightens harder with every image. You're lying. We wish we were. The man finally introduces himself as Vale. Over the next hour, he explains the rules. Nobody understands what causes the transitions. Nobody knows where the timelines come from. But every death moves you forward. Never backward. And every world is worse than the last. Timeline 12 collapsed economically. Timeline 27 normalized social ranking systems. Timeline 39 introduced airborne infection zones. Timeline 61 lost most governments completely. By Timeline 70, autonomous military systems controlled entire cities. And 74, you ask quietly. Vale hesitates. We've never seen anyone survive this long. That answer should terrify you. Instead, you feel something worse. Responsibility. Because if 74 is impossible, maybe this is happening for a reason. Maybe the timelines are changing you for something. The raid happens 2 nights later. Soldiers hit the underground shelter with precision explosives. Not random enforcement. Targeted assault. Vale realizes it instantly. They found us too fast. The shelter erupts into chaos. Smoke floods the tunnels. Gunfire tears through concrete corridors. People scream. You barely escape through flooded maintenance tunnels while half the group dies covering exits. Then one soldier corners Vale near a service corridor. Rifle aimed directly at his head. You could keep running. Instead, you attack. You slam the soldier into the wall hard enough to crack his visor and steal the weapon before he can recover. Vale survives because of you. Afterward, he stares at you carefully. You remember combat now. You realize he's right. You knew exactly where to hit. Exactly how to move. The memories are bleeding through faster now. Every death leaves something behind. Fragments. Gunfire. Collapsing buildings. Children crying underground. A woman screaming your name in another language. You aren't just surviving timelines anymore. You're adapting to them. Months pass. Maybe years. Time stops feeling normal after enough transitions. You die 3 more times. Drone strike. Infection. Execution. That last one changes you the most. Timeline 81 controls society through biometric systems. Food. Housing. Medicine. Everything depends on social ranking scores. People don't get arrested anymore. They simply disappear from the system until starvation handles the rest. That's where they catch you. The interrogation officer already knows what you are. A cross-timeline survivor, he says calmly. Extremely valuable. That realization changes everything. Some governments already know about jump survivors. They study them. Hunt them. Maybe weaponize them. The officer offers you a deal. Work for the directorate. Help identify instability points across timelines. In exchange. Protection. Safety. Resources. For one terrible moment, you almost say yes. Not because you trust him. Because you're exhausted. You refuse anyway. They execute you 40 hours later. Then you wake up somewhere worse. Timeline 82 has no birds. You notice the silence immediately. Sea walls surround entire cities. Armed checkpoints divide food sectors. Private military corporations openly govern abandoned nations. You survive there for 4 years. Long enough to meet a woman named Mara. Long enough to almost feel human again. Eventually, you tell her the truth. Surprisingly, she believes you immediately. Then she says something that changes everything. What if the timelines aren't getting worse? You stare at her. What if you are? You hate the idea instantly because part of you knows she's right. Every timeline feels harsher partly because you survive longer inside them now. You trust less. Lie easier. Kill faster. Maybe survival itself is changing you. Maybe becoming less human is the only way to keep moving forward. Then Mara dies during an ambush beside a refugee convoy. You hold her while freezing rain falls around overturned supply trucks. And for the first time in years, you seriously consider giving up. Not because you fear death. Because you fear where death sends you next. That becomes the real horror eventually. Not dying. Waking up afterward. By timeline 90, you start finding messages left behind for you. Don't reach 100. The handwriting is yours. After that, more appear. Encrypted recordings. Dead drops. Warnings from future versions of yourself. You stop remembering after 100. They learned how to follow us. Then eventually. You meet one. Timeline 96. An underground facility beneath the ruins of Singapore. Security forces raid the area while you're escaping through collapsing corridors. Then one soldier removes his helmet. And you see your own face staring back at you. Older. Scarred differently. Exhausted beyond words. You're earlier than expected, he says. Your mind nearly breaks trying to process it. What are you? You. Eventually. He explains only fragments before explosions shake the corridor around you. The timelines aren't natural anymore. At some point beyond timeline 100, something learned how to use jump survivors. Entire realities became pressure systems designed to shape people like you. Train them. Weaponize them. You think you're surviving timelines, your older self says quietly. Really, the timelines are training you. For what? For the first time. He hesitates. That hesitation terrifies you more than anything else. Then he finally answers. For the war at the end. Explosions thunder closer. He shoves a data drive into your hand. Don't trust anyone after 98. Then he seals the blast doors behind him while soldiers close in from both sides. The last thing you see is your older self raising his rifle alone. You die again 3 hours later. Timeline 98 begins with air raid sirens. You wake inside an underground shelter filled with terrified civilians. No confusion this time. No panic. That's how you know you've changed permanently. You check exits automatically. Count supplies instinctively. Identify armed personnel within seconds. You've become efficient at apocalypse. Weeks later, you finally access the data drive. Most of the files are corrupted. One video remains intact. An even older version of yourself appears on screen. Gray hair. Hollow eyes. Exhausted beyond comprehension. If you're seeing this, he says, then you're close enough that they can hear thought patterns. He pauses. Then says the sentence that freezes your blood. Timeline 100 isn't another world. Static flickers across the screen. It's convergence. Your stomach drops. All surviving timelines collapse together there. Every jumper. Every government that discovered transitions. He looks directly into the camera. And something is waiting. The recording cuts to black. That night, you sit alone beside the shelter ventilation systems listening to distant artillery above the city. Children sleep nearby. Soldiers argue quietly over ration supplies. Someone cries behind a curtain divider because another scavenging team never came back. Normal sounds now. That's the worst part. You barely remember the person who died saving a little girl from a truck. That version of you acted emotionally. Current you calculates survival probabilities before entering rooms. Current you lies naturally. Kills when necessary. Sometimes before necessary. And somewhere deep down, you finally understand the truth. The timelines do not reward morality. They reward adaptation. The better you survive, the less human you become. Suddenly the shelter alarms activate overhead. Everyone wakes instantly. Panic spreads through the underground corridors. Someone shouts that unidentified aircraft are approaching the district. You stand automatically. Reach for your weapon automatically. And while terrified civilians scramble around you, another realization settles quietly into place. Part of you wants to see what comes next.